Hey everybody, this is EternallyPrussian's Warframe, here today to talk about Update 11. I think Update 11 was a huge mistake. It was just, I saw problems left and right going on with it. I expect there to be glitches, yes, I expect there to be complications here and there. But what I saw was just absolute crap. I got 3 to 5 invincibility glitches. I had so many problems. My friend who has a Vectus that normally knocks down level 50s in one shot took him 3 shots to take down a level 50 minigunner, and 2 of them were crits on headshot. He had armor piercing, he had everything you should need, and I've noticed weapons and warframes left and right have been messed up. No levels make sense anymore. It didn't never, nothing really clicks anymore. Remember how you go to Saturn and you'd see, oh, say, level 20s, 20 to 30? You're seeing level 10 to 13. And never mind the fact that the levels are a bit screwed up. What I'm looking at here is just... what the... magnetic damage? I know they added some new elemental damage types, and I'm gonna be honest, the new damage types they added were kinda cool. I mean, they did also replace stun with elemental effect chance, so, I mean, I suppose that's not to be missed, because stun never really did much anyway. But they added something new to the capture missions that is just absolute shit. Now capture targets can not only fight back, but they have a full Grineer arsenal at the ready. You will find ones with Grakatas, Sobex, what was the other one? Vipers, and they move. I have had a capture target outrun my Loki. If you can... what the hell? Thankfully Scorches were correctly nerfed, but look at that! He's just going! He goes out of speed. So, okay, yeah, now he's temporarily knocked over, but I remember going after a capture target with my Trinity, and this was on Earth. An Earth capture target with my Trinity, and he had a shot, he had the Sobek, and he ran like a motherfucker. Not only that, but he killed my Trinity. I had to use a revive on a fucking capture target. I cannot describe to you the levels of bullshit that is. They should not be that powerful, and oftentimes they're just as strong, if not stronger, than all the troops. And by what I'm seeing, that level 13 capture target is stronger than any enemy that I've seen so far. That does not make any sense. The one thing I like they fixed is the rescue missions. Rescue targets are no longer targets for the enemy. Thank God, because I remember finally getting to the rescue target, releasing them from the capsule, and then watching it die in one shot, and I couldn't do anything about it, and it was mission failed. That was basically a giant fuck you. Now, you know, that's gotten better, but this has gotten worse. Because if you can die by the friggin' capture target, you're not going to get anywhere, and that means you're permanently out of the mission if you don't want to spend a revive. And if you do spend revives, you better hope they didn't run too far ahead, because if they did, they now have escape pods they get into, they go away, and it's not even like it's mission failed. It's like, oh, there's no capture target. You have no choice but to forfeit the mission now. So, that's just absolute crap. Why would somebody do that? I haven't been able to do much checking out of the old missions. I also tried to make a video last night, but I got a couple corrupted files, so I had to get rid of those and remake this now. Honestly, the looks are nice, the new elemental effects are pretty, but trying to learn this for new players, they're absolutely fucked. I mean, yeah, they're going to see levels 1 to 3, and they're going to be like, oh, what, I can take a level 10 when I'm level 10? No way. At least with the 20s and above when you had the old system, it was like, oh, you know, you're level 20. So yeah, you can definitely take level 20s, but if you're really risky, you can go, you just learned it much easier. And now it's just everything seems to be falling behind. They added a new jumping over animation, which, as you can see how well that worked out. I also noticed how they've deprived all the enemies of shields, like the melee units are now just basically swatting flies, which is what I really enjoy. And they've also done the same thing with heavy units by depriving them of shield, but believe me, they are just as tough. And, I mean, I guess there's something to be said for liking that, but at the same time, a lot of crap going on. Oh, a lot of crap there, too. They've changed the description of the Grineer Scorpion, so now it makes sense. Now it's not just some kind of stupid sadism joke. Not that I have a problem with that as a sadist myself, but, you know. The criticals here are just disgusting. I mean, I had a Bratton. A Bratton. This is a regular assault rifle. I used one shot against an infested. I fired one bullet. 999 crit damage. That is disgusting. Just really, one bullet does 999 crit damage? Something tells me this is a little imbalanced. And I also notice how I'm getting my shit torn down very easily here too, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, as I've carried my Rhino on much tougher missions. So everything seems to be pretty much out of whack with this game. They have a lot of fixing to do to make up for their mistakes. So wait, where's the target? Oh, you're kidding me, he has a Sobek. Ugh. There we go. He's in the floor. I'm still fine if they kept that glitch. I really like seeing my target in the floor. But you know, things I used to see that would one-hit KO all the time, like my Lex, this thing is powerful enough to knock over a small building. Level 20s, even level 40s wouldn't serve much a problem for this thing. But now that we're still technically on the level 20s, you've seen this thing not deliver one-hit KOs, which I find absolutely disgusting. To make it even worse is melee weapons like the Galatine that used to do a ton of damage. Yeah, not so much anymore. Also, as my friend has told me multiple times from attempting capture missions are my favorite, floating head, that the target can now use a ground slam. So in case you're not fucked enough or you just ran out of stamina, whoops, looks like your target's getting away. I really have no understanding of the system, and oh, I have a slash condition that's going to drain my health. That's great. Remember how sometimes you could just like survive on like 20 health because you got lucky and you were smart enough to take cover? Yeah, you're deprived of that right now. You have to desperately be searching for health or doing whatever because these conditions don't really start popping up early, but the later in the game you get, obviously it would make sense you'd have conditions. Some of these get kind of ridiculous. And the conditions you afflict onto the enemy don't do much of anything because they're usually dead in a few shots, so why have the condition to begin with? All you'd want is just elemental effect. And how was I suddenly deprived of a shield completely? I don't remember that happening. Okay, that's more like it. So this has turned out to be a very strange update. Weapons now do not mean nearly the same thing. I actually did have a whole weapons review series comparing two very, very similar weapons to each other, just to see how they stacked up, and while the values, the base values essentially remain the same, you now deal with puncture, slash, and impact force, and now armor piercing is impact. They've changed a lot. And some of these changes I really don't like. Like, for instance, I'll be using my Skindo, and it'll show an impact icon. I'm like, Skindo is all about slash. Yeah, it has some extra impact, but really, it's not built for that. Not only that, but as I'm sure you can guess, each different faction is weak to a certain type of damage. Well, in the game notes, it said for damage 2.0 that you would be able to build a weapon, like with mods, so you could have kind of a jack of all trades weapon. You wouldn't need to buy a whole bunch of weapons individually, but yeah, you do. If you don't have everything formatted twice and you want to carry a Skindo into an infestation mission, you're going to be like, eh. What I have a big problem with here is that the ether items. Ether items seem to have almost no effect anymore. I would take an Ether Reaper to a level 30 or 40 infested. I'd use 2 Ether swipes, and it would kill. In Ancient. I mean, it was that good. I take it to regular infested, and it doesn't do much of anything. I have to do 2 or 3 swipes before it gets anything done. That's pretty sad. But to make it worse, remember how Ember used to be the absolute best when it came to killing infested? Not anymore, she's not, because I use Overheat, and it doesn't do anything. I use World on Fire, which would absolutely kill anything it came into contact with. Yeah, now that's not doing much of anything at all. It's a lot better than Overheat, but I remember getting mauled to death using Overheat because mobs do not panic under fire anymore, and even, spamming my Ether Reaper, I barely escaped about 10 infested alive, and that's pretty bad, considering that it shouldn't be doing that. That's absolute bullshit. Well, regardless of this, Update 11 still has many more problems, including the Kogake having this massive glitch where it doesn't do what the Kogake should do. I will still upload the Obex and Stealth Talk because, let's be honest, we're going to need that. It's just necessary to get it done. So, with a few minor changes and a lot of really bad changes, I feel terrible for new players that are like just coming into the game and trying to learn how this all works, because even the pros are not doing this, so we're going to have a really bad time. When I first saw this update, I thought, this is for people who are so good at Warframe they format each of their items like 3 times. And that's not the vast majority of players. So, the jury's still out on whether this is good or not, and I've been hearing a lot of complaints from my friends about just how shit this is going to be. Hopefully they'll add a lot of hotfixes and patches, and maybe we'll get something good out of this update. For now, this is EternallyPrussian. I spoke. Tower to exterminate? Well, I guess things may be a little bit looking up, but for now, this is EternallyPrussian, signing off.